All right, so today we're testing with the iPad, so we're going to get started in a few short minutes at 6:30. It's 6:27 p.m. My time right now, so that would be 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5:30. So today we're just testing something along with the iPad version of Streamlabs instead of the normal graphical setup that we typically have. So we're just kind of setting everything up and we're testing it as we're also, of course, testing with the stuff from the new modem from Saskatchewan. So because I'm broadcasting straight right from the iPad, there's some few things that I'm just kind of working on and testing, so it's going to be a little bit rough and ghetto today. But the good news is it's something that we can do and just get right going, and which is great because sometimes when we do the Throwback Thursdays, it won't necessarily be in the studio. Sometimes they'll be on locations. So this is one of those ways that we can just kind of turn the iPad on, connect it to the Sasktel wireless modem, and we should be good to go. So we'll start in 2 minutes. So if you see me poking away again, then that's just me kind of getting everything set up. And I didn't realize we were live because I was setting everything up. And we'll just give her. So 6:28 p.m. and we'll start in 2 minutes. So if you see me rather unprofessionally poking at my phone, that's why. And I'll start at exactly 6:30 and we will get started. And because it's a test and there's only one camera in this particular one, because I'm using the iPad, Emily won't be joining me today, but the two of us will be back next week. It also serves nicely for being lazy when I'm tired and there's a bunch of stuff going on. And there's a bunch of very exciting stuff to go on this week. All right, kids, it's 6:30, and you know what that time is. It is Ghetto on Crappy Camera Day. Actually, no, it's Go Nitro Throwback Thursdays, and today we're starting something a little bit different, although it's not going to be every single week. So as some of you know, we're testing a bunch of different technologies that will allow us to broadcast in the field as well as in the studio. And of course, the main point of this is just to be able to talk to our viewers in a live way. So there's obviously YouTube has a chat function. So if there's anything that you want to say, by all means type it. Emily and I will see it. And Emily's not with us today. Well, she is actually, she's working, but because we're just doing the iPad setup with Streamlabs today as a test, at least for now, only one of us can appear on. And then next week we'll be back to the normal graphics setup where you can see myself and Emily, and then we rock back and forth between the cameras. But because this works with our wireless modem, this allows us on days that we're actually shooting episodes of Go Nitro to go ahead and do it. So this is very, very exciting. But of course, what it means is that right now we're kind of on ghetto cam a little bit. And that's one of the things. But as I say, we're testing things. So it'll be kind of fun. It'll be a little rough today. As I say, I jokingly call it ghetto cam. All right, kids, so here we go. So there's a couple of things that I want to go over today that are really exciting. The first thing I want to do, though, before we get started is I need to give a huge shout out to Cal Tire in Yorkton, who saved our bacon. I was kind of stupid and I let our tires go on the vehicle on our cruiser go a little too long. So our tires went down and I needed to replace the front tires, and they went above and beyond. So I need to give a little bit of a plug to Cal Tire in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. So thanks to them for being as amazing as they are. And of course, we are a proud chamber member of the Yorkton Chamber of Commerce. So that's one of the things that we're very proud of. So I'll get away from the hyper-local in a moment for those of you that this doesn't have any relevance, but I like to give credit where credit is due. The other thing that I would like to do is just give another quick shout out to SaskTel. They were kind enough to furnish us with a wireless modem, a ZTE modem that is working amazingly, and they furnished it for us specifically so that we could test these live broadcasts from our studio setup on location and as well the iPad. So today we are actually testing the Streamlabs app. So this is one of the things that is going to allow us to broadcast in the field in cases where it's not realistic for us to have a number of different cameras set up. So that's very, very exciting. But of course, what it means is today you got a little bit of a, I don't know if you want to call it, like it's a little on the grainy side because I was too lazy to set up a light. But again, I want to test it in a bunch of different setups. Some really polished and some not so polished. Obviously, the TV show is always extremely polished. And again, as I say, this is one of those ways that we can connect with our viewers that watch Go Nitro across the United States and in Canada every week, and soon possibly in Europe. But I can't say anything about that yet, so my lips are sealed. So today I want to talk a little bit about some exciting things that are going on with the show. The first, I'd like to welcome some of the three, actually more than three, a couple of big new stations that are actually going to start running Go Nitro soon. I'm extremely excited about this. Fox in particular, we obviously have a good relationship and we run on a lot of Fox Sports affiliate stations. And we've just added Boston, so Boston 25. Hello to all you out in Boston. You're going to get to enjoy our show soon. So we're extremely excited to be in Boston, home of the Bruins. And hopefully once the pandemic lifts, we'll be able to do a bunch of extremely exciting things in Boston. So we're very, very happy to finally be running in Boston because that's a major market that is complementary to all of our other major markets. And I personally have been trying to get the show on Fox Boston, on Boston 25 for over a year. And of course, there's a lot of shows and sometimes it takes time to get on a schedule. So I'm very excited about that. As a Disney kid, I'm also extremely excited to be able to announce that we are also running on ABC in Orlando, Florida. So heart of Disney territory. So we are going to be running on ABC in Orlando, and we are also, fittingly enough, in the heart of NASCAR territory, we are now running in North Carolina and Charlotte, North Carolina. So these are three new stations that we're extremely excited about. We are also running in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this is our first punt into the state of Oklahoma. So we're very, very happy about that. And so these are things that we're extremely happy about. And of course, we are also running in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're very, very happy about that. So we keep adding a bunch of new stations as things progress. We have a bunch of new stations that we're also adding, but I can't announce them yet. But I will announce them here as soon as we can. We just keep getting bigger and bigger stations, and we are expanding across the United States of America, which we are very, very excited about. But one of the things that I just want to emphasize is that that's somebody calling me. I'll answer that later. They have wonderful timing. This is one of the things that is absolutely fantastic when it comes to online broadcasts. So so we have a bunch of new stations that are coming. And what I was going to say before we were so rudely interrupted by the telephone is that of all the stations that we have across the United States of America, it would not happen if not for our home station, which is WBBJ in Jackson, Tennessee, ABC, CBS. You can watch Go Nitro on CBS and ABC, WBBJ in Jackson, Tennessee, 10:30 Saturday nights. So I need to give a big shout out to our friends at WBBJ, particularly Jeff Pruitt and Master Control and Tommy Culbertson, and as well as Wayne Thing, who's now kind of gone on to run his business, but he is the man responsible for getting us on the air, so I have to give credit where credit's due. So we have a couple of extremely exciting new episodes coming up, and you will see more and more. The seasons are getting much larger, so now we're starting to do 26 episode seasons as opposed to 13 as we expand. One of the interesting things about Go Nitro is that we go all over North America and we go all over the world. Now, the pandemic has grounded us somewhat, but we're still able to do a number of different sports just because it's in Saskatchewan. We have a lot of brilliant sports. We have a bunch of brilliant sports teams and athletics and athletes, and it keeps us going, and it's been working really well for us. So that's one of the things that I am extremely proud of. And you will continue to see new episodes on SaskTel. But yeah, 26 episodes, pretty large punts, I would say. So that's very cool in my personal opinion. And of course, we are also running on the Game Plus network Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm getting my my time zones mixed up here. And one of the other things that I'm very happy about is, so anyway, I got a little off track here, obviously no script or teleprompter, but so we have a few new episodes that you're going to see immediately, in the next few weeks. So coming up, we have dog sledding, which is actually pretty different, which is really exciting. I think Zero would like to say hello. So we have dog sledding. Unfortunately, I can't take Zero and hook her up to a sled. I don't really know how far it would go. Yeah, you want to be hooked up to a sled with a bunch of dogs? Hey, is that what you want? Do you want to be hooked up to a dog sled? Yeah, no, I don't think so. And we have skiing, which is coming up as well. And we also have boxing as well as snowboarding. So lots of snow going on, which of course we have no shortage of. So you'll be seeing those broadcasting over the course of the next few weeks. So snowboarding, skiing, dog sledding, and boxing in the immediate. And then there's a bunch of other episodes coming as well. So those are in the immediate. So the new stations and the new episodes and the new sports, so there'll be a lot of new ones coming up. And of course, we will continue to put content on gonitro.tv, as well as the YouTube station that you are currently watching here right now. So these are things that, and of course we put it on our Facebook and our Instagram and everything as well. So yeah, no shortage of episodes at all. Yeah, it's been a bit of a busy week. Just kind of getting everything going. We're starting to get into spring. The weather's getting a little better. Other than the dump of snow that we have this week. And, of course, one of the other nice things as a result of that is the vaccines are starting to roll out. So I'm not quite in the age group that I get my prick vaccine yet. But apparently I'm coming up soon. So, supposedly everybody in this particular province were supposed to get inoculated by the end of July. So hopefully we'll be able to start traveling and getting back to a normal life. So so a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about a little bit this week. Skycron.com. We've updated the site a little bit with some new content that we've done. We are also going to start publicizing our new ad agency division. Actually, it's an old ad agency division, but it didn't have its own website. So a lot of people thought that Skycron was just a production company and didn't know about the ad agency that we have, Skycron Creative. So we're going to be launching that website pretty soon. Not directly related to Go Nitro, but it is an important part of Go Nitro because sponsorship is one of the main things that makes the show go. So these are just things that are, as I say, not directly relevant to Go Nitro, at least in terms of you as a viewer, but they are things that kind of make the show go. So this week, as I say, it's a little bit more of a test. So this one's a bit of a shorter broadcast, more of an update, because as I say, I wanted to just kind of test this new system and see how well it works. So this one's probably not going to run an hour or anything like that. Well, how are we at the timer? And so far, so good. Timer doesn't actually say how long we've been broadcasting. That's okay. That's okay. That is one of the wonderful things about technology. You know, it's there's some growing pains and things like that, but the most important thing we know is that it works. So the next time we do this, we'll note to avoid awkward pauses, because one of the things with the iPad is you just turn it on and it starts broadcasting, and then one can start yammering, as I am doing right now, like a gas-fed duck, and my cat has decided to provide a cameo. So this will be a shorter one today because, as I say, it's primarily a test. I mean, obviously there's news in terms of the stations, but nothing that I can necessarily fill an hour of yammering with. Emily and I will be back next week in the normal format with the pretty graphics and everything else. And in case you didn't catch it, we had the chance to chat with John Delancey last week. You might know him as Q, the omnipotent, all-knowing being from Star Trek, but he is actually a veteran sailor, and he has sailed across the Pacific to Tahiti and back, and it was a very interesting interview, and I really enjoyed speaking with him, because one of the things that I didn't realize is it actually has a lot in common with flying. I'm a private pilot. I enjoy flying single engine aircraft, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy. My dad used to be kind of into sailing, and I remember him taking me out for a couple of punts when I was a kid, but I didn't really get into it, and I was really young. But it's interesting to kind of go back and look at it now, because now that I'm a private pilot and I talk to somebody like John, who's been sailing for many, many years, very, very complicated punts across the ocean and back, one of the things that struck me is just, as I say, how similar it is to the kinds of considerations that you're dealing with when you are dealing with flying, right? You have to deal with weather, you have to deal with charts, you have to deal with being able to kind of figure out. You always need to be a couple of steps ahead all the time. So these are really things that are extremely important and need to be considered. And it was really nice to be able to talk to John about that. And one of the things that you might have, and if you haven't seen it, that would be episode 4. So that would be the episode immediately preceding this one. So that aired last week on YouTube. So, and we also are planning to get more guests, interesting guests that have a background in a different sport or athletic related discipline that you might not expect. And there's a lot of, and coming from a television background on top of sports, what a lot of people don't realize is just how athletic and how very interesting a lot of actors are, right? Because when you take on a role, you really need to be able to inhabit that skill. And it's not always faking it on TV, right? I mean, if you're dealing with stunts, or you're dealing with cases where you are doing complicated choreographies where there might be a proclivity to get hurt, right? Because you have a lot of moving parts, you have a lot of people, and you don't have necessarily a lot of time. It necessitates a certain degree of athleticism, and that comes from training, and that comes from discipline, and that comes from just working it to make sure that when you're called upon to do something which you might not necessarily know that you're going to do it, you already have a baseline, right? So if you're doing stunts, however basic, you have that background that you can do these things. And that is one of the things that I think that a lot of people are not aware of, is just how athletic many, many actors are. Again, because they are put in situations that differ from part to part. And, I can tell you from my days in television, I mean, be it anything from a television commercial to a narrative production or a drama or a movie. I mean, you're working 10, 12, 14, 16-hour days to get your shots. And everybody's working extremely hard, the director, the second AD, third AD, depending on the size of the production, the actors, whatever's on the call sheet. You have You might have pyrotechnics to contend with. You might have wireworks to contend with. You might have choreography to contend with. Again, you have all these moving parts that need to work together. And being not necessarily out of shape, but not in the best shape that one could be, makes it more difficult to be able to adapt in a safe and speedy manner. And so what you'll find is a lot of performers are extremely fit, and they take good care of their bodies. It's not just good sense, and it's not necessarily vanity either, although, certainly being fitter in a lot of ways can make you more attractive, self-confidence, whatever. But it's just taking care of your body and making sure that you know what you're putting into yourself and what you need to do in order to do that. So I'm hoping to get a number of other actors and really interesting people that have very interesting careers to kind of talk about some of the hobbies that they have, many of which are on an extremely high level, and how they relate. So some of you might be saying, well, what the hell does that have to do with Go Nitro? It doesn't have anything to do with Go Nitro. Not true. It is absolutely true that it has everything to do with it because, again, as I say, and it's the premise of the entire show, every athlete has a first day. There's always a day that you start. And even if you are completely new to a sport, but you might be a veteran in something else, so at least your basic athleticism is something that you can take with you, right? The skill set of a new sport might be completely different, but that having been said, you can take that and at least it'll give you a baseline, and then as you're learning the new sport, and again, because you're fitter and you know what your body can do and what your body cannot do, you can adapt and you're less likely to get hurt, right? If you are more fit and you are not getting winded and you are taking care of the stuff that you're eating. And it doesn't mean that you have to eat salads or nature bars or whatever. You just, you want to make sure that you're having a balanced diet. The bar none, the best food that I have ever had. Anybody that knows me knows that I really like hot food. So anybody that has ever had the pleasure of going to South Asia or Southeast Asia, and if you haven't gone and you ever have the opportunity to go. The food is amazing and it's extremely spicy and hot, but it's very good for you, and everything is extremely flavorful. And a lot of the stuff is completely vegetarian. A lot of it is spices, and a lot of the stuff that I was eating, I never missed any of the stuff that I was eating at home at all, because there was just so much flavor in everything. And I stopped eating meat a lot of the time just because I wasn't wanting for it. And if one is having the hankering for meat, I mean, some of the substitutes are so unbelievably good now. I mean, they're made with beans and stuff, and a lot of the time you can't tell the difference. You can't. So even 5-6 years ago, a lot of these foods, a lot of these vegan substitute foods, and I'm not one of these, no disrespect to tree huggers, but I'm not one of these tree hugger political types. I personally find that as I've gotten older, I find that I think it's just going to be one of those days. Somebody's goofing with my car. Oh boy. Nobody bought the car. It's weird. Well, my car alarm went off, but there's nobody by the car, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but hello, Tilk. Hi. This is a little bit of a throwback for the first broadcast here, where everything was going to hell, but at least we know that Streamlabs works. Hi. Hello. Hi. Yes, you're famous. Hi. Are you having fun? Yeah, here we go. This is what we get. So, come for the broadcast, come for the sports, stay for the puppy. Yeah, he's a puppy. He's 9 months old. Tilk, here, sit. Oh, here we go. All right, well, I think that'll wrap this up for this week. Make sure that you tune in to us every week at 6:30, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, or Eastern Time on Thursdays for the Go Nitro Throwback Thursdays, and on the topic of needing to be healthy and give attention. I think Tilk here wants me to take him to the park. Do you want my attention? I hadn't guessed. Okay, there we go. Hi. Yes, please don't crush my balls. I need them. I don't think you need yours, but I need mine. Yes, hi. Nose massage. Okay, all right, Joe. Take yourself this down. So, hi. Okay. Broadcasting. All right, sit. All right. All right. Well. This is what happens when you don't give your dog a hug before you go on the air.